Hi, I'm Alison Warner, founder of Evolve and Grow and author of Build and Grow. Welcome to the Evolve and Grow podcast show, where I share lots of useful tips and advice to tradespeople who are looking to move off the tools and grow a really successful business. The Build System, Business Planning, Part 2. So if you think about any business, it's really a mix of 4 different elements. And I'd like you now to think about a square. And at the top of the square, write sales and marketing. At the bottom of the square, write customer service. Down the right-hand side, write team. And down the left-hand side, finance and systems. So if you think about any business at all, the trick really is to keep these 4 elements in balance. When I was in my resourcing role with a high-end coffee chain in the UK, my job was essentially to ensure that we had sufficient of the right people to support the substantial growth of the company. At its peak in the UK and Ireland, we were opening 3 stores every week. It was pretty challenging. There was obviously a considerable amount of roles to fill in addition to natural turnover of positions, and customer service could have been at risk because of the changes made within teams, so we had to be very careful in managing this expansion. I was recently working with a construction business that had no shortage of demand. This is not uncommon at all. So if you think of the sales and marketing at the top of the square, that was not the issue. But there was no structure in place to deal with this demand. The business owner was trying to do everything himself. Even though he actually had all of the people he needed to support him, he hadn't defined what their role should be and struggled to let go. Customer service was massively impacted due to the fact that he wasn't getting back to customers with a quote following that initial visit. The irony was that all he needed to do was identify who should be doing what according to their strengths and then let go. As soon as he did this, it was like finding and fixing the leak in his business, which was then allowed to flow. In another client's business, the client had invested heavily in having the right systems and processes in place. He's providing great customer service and had a good relationship with quality people for when he needed to outsource. The problem was that he had no marketing plan in place, which over time could have taken the business under due to overinvestment. In other words, investing too much ahead of the curve. In another example, my client was providing excellent customer service. We knew this because he was measuring it. His company had also gone through significant organic growth. All of his new business came through client referrals. When he initially came to see me, he intuitively knew that the business was at risk. In another example, my client was providing excellent customer service. We knew this because he was measuring it. His company had also gone through significant organic growth. All of his new business came through client referrals. When he initially came to see me, he intuitively knew that the business was at risk and wouldn't be able to grow unless he had help to put some structures in place around people. This involved putting in various systems and processes to help measure, manage and reward performance, as well as those to help him identify and recruit the right talent. Invariably, what I see within trades businesses in regards to the 4 elements is that sales and marketing is not the issue. Often the business owners I've worked with are very good at their trade, so they start a business providing a good customer service. Customers then recommend them and the business grows, sometimes at an alarming rate. The owners take people on, often friends or family, which can often be a problem in itself, and before they know it, they are running a business as opposed to just selling their time for money. The problem is that they're still doing this as well. They're still on the tools, so all the important tasks such as invoicing, chasing payments, managing people, etc., take a back seat. The result? A lot of stress for the business owner and often a poor customer experience and poor cash flow. Most businesses, especially in this industry, do not go under due to lack of demand for the service. Far from it. It is for other reasons, such as the speed at which invoices go out, debtors often not being chased for payments of invoices in a timely manner, and customer service not being measured. So let me explain a little bit more about the 4 elements, starting with marketing. specifically your product or service? Are you actually providing what the market wants? What makes your offering unique? I often hear people describe their unique selling proposition, often referred to as your USP, as great customer service or a family business that really cares. I'm sorry, but this just doesn't cut it. Most businesses would describe themselves in this way. What is really different about how you deliver your service? Have you got any feedback from your customers that verify your claims? Surveys can be great for this. If 98% of your customers would be happy to recommend your service to friends and family, then tell people that on your website, in brochures, verbally, etc., etc. It is essential that you stay close to your market and are aware of any changes in its needs and wants. For example, the advent of solar power and the impact this has had on the electrical and plumbing industries remain relevant. The world is moving at an alarming rate, and it is easy to lose sight of this. Just look at what happened to the likes of HMV, Blockbuster and some high street travel agents. They saw the change too late or failed to adapt in time. What about the effectiveness of your marketing strategy, i.e. the channels you use to get new customers? For example, a website, networking, social media, trade websites, etc. Do you know where your business comes from? How effective is it versus how much you are spending in terms of time and money on that channel? How much does it cost to get a new lead? Often you can increase the return on investment just by doing this analysis and changing where you spend your money. Let's look at customer service next. Are you measuring the service your company provides? So often I ask clients, do you think you provide good customer service? And invariably the answer is yes. However, when we either have a mystery shop conducted or undertake a customer survey, the story can be quite different. It is so important that you ask your customers if they are happy with the service you provide. Often if companies do this at all, they do it in person. There's nothing wrong with that necessarily, and if this is you, you're in the minority in a good way. However, in the UK especially, people are very good at saying everything is fine when it isn't, and they then moan to everyone but the person who should be hearing it. There are several benefits to conducting surveys or regular mystery shops. So have a think about that. Have you conducted any market research? This can be an invaluable exercise for two main reasons. First of all, benchmarking of pricing. See where your pricing falls in relation to the market. One client I worked with was able to increase his turnover by 10% just by increasing his prices. The benchmarking exercise, which involved calling competitors, gave him confidence as he could see he was one of the cheapest garages in the area and more often than not providing better service than his competitors. Secondly, staying close to changing market trends. Okay, the trades and construction industries perhaps don't change as much or as quickly as some, but all industries are constantly evolving. Often I ask clients to think of well-known companies which have failed, and the reason can usually be linked back to them not responding quickly enough to changing market trends. Now let's look at team. Do you have sufficient people? Sometimes it is obvious that a business hasn't got enough people, and this in itself is preventing business growth. In some cases, it is having a detrimental impact on customer service. Other times, it's just that people are not in the right roles or not being utilised effectively. Are they capable? Do you have the right people for the job itself? Have they been trained sufficiently? Do they know what is expected of them? Don't immediately write people off who are not performing. Often they can be turned around with a back to basics conversation and resetting expectations. Are they engaged, motivated? When people are engaged, they do what we call stay, strive and thrive. In other words, they don't leave, they work hard to do better, and they grow in capability. It is not just about being satisfied, engagement is one step up. When you have an engaged team, everything is so much easier. They think for themselves, go out of their way to do more than what is expected, and ultimately free you up to run the business. Finally, let's look at finance and systems. So is your business reaching its sales targets, and is it profitable? Invariably, people are not able to answer these questions when they don't have the right systems in place to make this information visible. Sometimes they don't even know the turnover of the business, let alone how much money they are making. As mentioned before, this makes it very difficult for them to make informed decisions. Is cash flow a problem? Often the business doesn't have a sales problem, it is a cash flow problem due to a delay in invoices being sent out and debtors not being chased. Are you utilising IT systems? Accounting software such as Xero or Sage, if set up correctly, can provide really useful reports that help you make better decisions. In the trade and construction industries, it is also important to have the system set up to report on individual job profitability. A customer relationship management system, often referred to as a CRM, specifically for trades, can help your business schedule labour and jobs as well as send marketing to your customers. If you're a business where you have less than 5 engineers out on the road, I'd recommend ServiceMate. If you're a slightly larger business, check out Simpro. You should now have visibility of which element of your business needs attention first to bring it into balance. In my experience of working with trades, marketing is rarely the issue, as I've said. Businesses in this industry have plenty of demand for their services if they're good. The problem is often that they have no visibility of their finances, which is having a negative impact on their ability to make good decisions. Now you have an understanding of the 4 key elements of any business and where the opportunities within your business lie, along with an appreciation of how important it is to have a close understanding of your numbers. Although it doesn't have to be you doing all of this, you can delegate, but you can't abdicate. Remember to set your destination, i.e. your goals, create the map, your financial forecast, and check in regularly to make sure you're on track. I really hope you've enjoyed today's podcast. Please do share on social media, and if you'd like to learn more, head over to my website www.evolveandgrowcoaching.com, where you'll find more details and also my book Build and Grow, which is available on Amazon. Finally, you can also support the show by writing a review and subscribing on iTunes.